Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can see from the topic already, we are talking about the rise of lab meat. Is the future vegan or plant-based? And from the other videos, you may have noticed that I did change the course of my content that I'm doing, which is talking about health and beauty. I might also put in, and also a lot of commentary because I really like it. There's so many things going on. And one thing I noticed, except for rising living costs everywhere around the world and the global food crisis that has existed for years, people are really struggling now from the after effects of the pandemic. There's a rise of obesity, there's a rise of food costs, but there's also a rise of, artificial GMO modified food in the food industry. The food industry itself has revolutionized itself within the last 3 years, in my opinion. Back then when I met someone who was vegan, like early 2000, like when I was in school, um it was like basically the person that was vegan would just live off of tofu, a little bit of um, fruits and vegetables, and that's it. There would be no detailed, nutrition plan about them. It seems so simple, and a lot of people thought when you're vegan, even plant-based, you would suffer because you don't have the amount of food supplies that someone that consumes meat and that consumes milk would have. Now, nowadays, when I go to my local grocery store, or I even shop online, I see so many alternatives to meat. There is pea-based meat. There is still tofu's out there, but a lot of people don't like tofu, and the way it's also genetically modified most of the time, so they opt for other stuff. And in this video, I'm going to show you the next revolution coming towards the food industry. No, there's a plane.
Cells you harvest at the end, separate out the liquid from all the
Let's
cells.
start from the
Meat is
beginning.
a high-tech achievement, but it all starts with a cow, or a pig, or a chicken, or any other animal. The first step is taking a biopsy from the animal's muscle, a little tissue sample the size of a pea. That sample contains stem cells, which are placed in a machine called a bioreactor.
So it starts with the stem cell.
A bioreactor is a device that grows cells. The real core of the action is in the little vessel. You can see it sort of looks like a blender on life support, it's been called before.
A what? On a
Wow.
what now?
It's sort of like an incubator where you're growing these cells. You give them a great environment, the right temperature to grow in. It's almost like baking something. It's a recipe that you're following. Once you grow up all your cells, you harvest at the end, separate out the liquid from all the cells, and the cells that are remaining are the materials which could be created into a cultured meat product.
Wow. You can watch this whole episode. You can watch this on Netflix. There are very, very interesting documentaries on Netflix, like Sea Piracy and What the Health, where they basically talk about um, the ongoing food crisis and the problems that meat brings, and that a lot of people are also being pushed to become more plant-based, to become more vegan. And this whole agenda has benefits, but also strong side effects. Especially when you do want to become a little bit more conscious of what you eat. It's very, very important that the prices that are going on right now have to decrease, or else people won't afford to eat healthy. Eating healthy nowadays is something that you would think only people that have, wealth and are rich can afford. And this is absolutely not the intention that eating healthy has. In a perfect world, everybody would have access to clean water, fruits and vegetables for free or for affordable prices. And if you even have like celebrities like Cardi B that are very outspoken about the ongoing rise of living, the cost rise um, of living has changed dramatically, that eating low quality food, eating unhealthy food, fast food, processed food is cheaper than starting your healthy, conscious, clean eating journey. Well, you might think, oh, like some things like frozen foods and frozen veg and vegetables, fruits and veggies, sorry, are the alternatives. But science have proven that a lot of these fruits and veggies that are frozen, unless they're organic, don't have as much nutrients anymore as the fresh version have. So I used to opt for frozen vegetables and fruits and realize that sometimes it does taste very differently, a lot of water based. And then you have to trace it back if it's manufactured, because some are literally like organic raw fruits and vegetables that are frozen. But the majority of them, as you knew, the food industry is just, artificially made. And on that note of artificial, we have another documentary that I'm gonna about to show you that is talking about, a new company that is basically
Designed by Israeli company.
found a way to imitate meat in such a way that you would not even know it's not meat.
The Angus is a 3D printer its company's CEO says can churn out tons of this fake meat every day, allowing the producer to choose the tenderness, marbling, and fattiness of a cut. Don't worry, it looks much more appetizing once it's cooked. Designed by Israeli company Redefined Meat, the machines are meant to give a customer lifelike experience possible, using ingredients like soy and pea proteins, chickpeas, beetroot, nutritional yeasts, and coconut fat.
Here we study meat, animal meat. We study the texture, the chewiness, the tenderness, the juiciness, all the properties that give meat this sensory experience. And then we know how to mimic it in our meat.
This is the head of a food retailer chain taking a shot of beet juice blood. What did he think?
אתה מרגיש אני יכול להגיד את הזיכרון של טעם של דם.
Okay.
The steaks are available in approximately 1,000 restaurants in Israel and countries in Europe. Redefine is hoping to launch in more European countries soon.
We see a world in a decade from now that new meat or meat made from plants is a big part of the meat industry. It replaces a lot of the meat that people consume today that is bad for the environment and bad for the most of the people in the supply chain. I still believe that people will consume high quality meat forever, coming from animals, and these two industries will live side by side.
As you heard from him, I completely agree. The majority of people are still going to eat meat, but I do notice that there is a growing number of people that don't want to give up meat, but are very conscious where the meat comes from and that the animals do not suffer under bad conditions and are not held in cages and mistreated. So they're willing to give more money for high quality meat. But let's continue with this artificial meat.
Blue cheese is more than 2,000 years old and has strict requirements for both the milk source and the production process, with only 29 dairies in the world producing the cheese. Workers first pasteurize the unskimmed milk, then pour penicillium and rennet mold into the milk along with yeast, and wait about 20 minutes for the liquid milk to turn into curds. Next, the workers transfer the curds to the cheese molds, which are turned over 4 times to help the curds settle, and then left to settle overnight. The next day, the curds in the molds are cylindrical, weighing about 18 kilograms, and are then stored in a warm room for 3 to 5 days, an environment conducive to yeast action. Next, workers use a machine to pierce the entire cheese 100 times, creating multiple holes in its interior as they do so. They claim this is done to allow oxygen to get to the inside of the cheese, where oxygen-consuming bacteria can make the cheese grow a blue pattern. After this stage, the cheese begins to age, its surface is covered with a thick layer of mold, while the individual weight drops to about 12 kilograms, and the semi-soft cheese takes 2 months to form. The other, more pungent cheese takes 3 months, and the blue pattern inside is the
Wow.
effect of penicillium. There are also some differences in the color and texture of the two cheeses. Have you ever eaten this blue cheese in front of the screen? What do you think it tastes like? Follow me next issue to bring you more interesting science knowledge.
So you just saw how blue cheese is made, and that cheese has a very pricey, it's very pricey just in general. I never understood why, but I think it's the whole process of creating that blue cheese that makes it so pricey. But basically, we're being fed mold and bacteria because blue cheese gets its blue color from bacteria, basically. That is so crazy. So I'm just about to find the last video. Don't know, have we watched this already? No, that was the one that didn't work. Yeah, that was the one that didn't work. Anywho, so guys, be aware and very conscious what you're consuming. Make sure that you, even though these are hard times, to eat healthy and to be conscious of where our money goes because everything is getting so expensive. Try to choose the right path for you, and also do not consume everything just because it's cheap and just because it's super pricey like blue cheese. Make sure that you trace back the origin from your food if you want to take that journey. Eating healthy is not just a trend, in my opinion. It's not just a fast diet. It's a complete life change, and it's a journey to self, in my opinion, because you start to take responsibility about your own body and what you consume. And also it changes your moods, it changes your ability to think, because when you consume low vibrational food, if you are on, on the spiritual side with Dr. Sebi, there are certain alkaline foods that help you rise spiritually and grow in yourself, and there are other foods that drag us down, like fast food, so even soul food. I heard soul food is also like soul tie. It ties you to the food, and you compensate a lot of emotional eating with soul food. So, guys, take the time for this year to really look what you're putting into your body, where the food comes from, and also stay tuned and watch out for my next video, which is going to be about the infamous salmon, a very delicious fish with its side effects. Thank you so much for watching and supporting. Bye.